Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squaring Around. We've had a few things happen recently. We have the Dave Campbell's deal. We're kind of reinventing some of the ways that we do things around here. We're back to interviews and other stuff. What are you doing?
We're 5 months into the podcast and we're reinventing things.
Yeah, you always got to be reinventing. We had 25 episodes in all the way around. I guess, is that plus or minus the ROF episodes? 20, technically, like almost less than 30 now.
Isn't the saying, don't reinvent the wheel?
Well, don't fix what's not broken, right? Yeah. I mean, nothing is broken, though. So
how many cliches can we put into the first 2 minutes of the podcast?
A lot.
Best thing since sliced bread?
Best thing since sliced bread. I can't think of anything right now. It's because I'm thinking about this conversation that we had with Bilo. Brian London, as you all know, all-time tackle leader for Texas State. All-time Bobcat, in my opinion. He's going to go in the Hall of Honor, I believe. And he's just an all-around great guy and great person who we just got finished talking to.
No, absolutely. And, probably one of the all-time players. He'd make your all-time team for sure. Talk about his pro career. Talk about selling mattresses a little bit. Talk about his time at Texas State and all of the fun, wacky adventures he had in San Mo.
And a couple San Marcos shout-outs. So if you really love the town, now you finally get to hear what Brian London would do with the NIL stuff now.
Oh, for sure. And we did the top 7 deadly sins of weightlifting.
Mm-hmm. And he acknowledged my sports history, which I appreciated as a former athlete. Did my time too.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, Brian's so awesome. And yeah.
Here's the interview. Jinx.
Pinch poke, yo me a Coke. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squaring Around. This is a new show that we're doing. I'm branding this completely different than Square Talks. We're doing this as Great Bobcats. And of course, we got to talk to one of the greatest Bobcats to ever put on the maroon and gold, Brian London, all-time tackle leader for Texas State. Brian, welcome to the show, buddy.
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. I'm excited.
So what have you been up to, post-grad, post everything?
Really just like that transition, man. I came out, I guess, at the worst time to be like at college, go to NFL or just football in general. So just kind of the timing, just being green about the whole process kind of affected things for me, man. So really just transitioning into life, moved out, been here in Denver actually for like a year and a half now, just to kind of get away from like Texas a little bit, just reset. So that's been cool. But yeah, just figuring out, what else I'm passionate about outside of football.
Well, let's talk about that. Why was it so difficult? What do you mean when you say like this is the worst time?
Yeah. So fast forward 2019, the fall, that was like my last like playing season. So fast forward to January, hearing about this thing that's starting up in China, where they're like locking down and everything. But surely, saying that's not going to get over here to the States. We're better than that. So I was training. Yeah, exactly. Hindsight 2020 wouldn't say that. But yeah, man, I was training in at Atlas Sports. It's like Dallas suburb over there in Midlothian. Everything was going good. Was excited about Pro Day and everything like that. Just for mid-major, you really need like Pro Day, just a chance to like showcase what you could do. Then yeah, literally, I'm training with a bunch of guys. My birthday is in March, and I distinctly remember it. I think my birthday may have been on Friday or Saturday of that week, the 12th. So making like plans with some guys, like training was rough, pro days coming up. Like maybe we just step out, breathe for a little bit, and then the world just shut down. Like I think it was like the day before my birthday or something like that. So pro day got canceled. The training I was in got canceled, shut down. Gyms closed. So like being a mid-major guy, like I'm like, I don't know, like what does this mean for me? You know what I'm saying? Like pro day and everything is my chance. So it was just hard. By the grace, of God, I got the chance with the Rams. It didn't come how I was expecting it. So normally I was hearing from, my agent and stuff. I'd be like, French guy, which I always kind of knew. And then teams started hitting me up, like as we got closer to the draft, like, hey man, like if you're still there late rounds, we might take a flyer on you, or we at the very least we're gonna bring you into camp, right? Get to day 3, the Rams actually called me and were like, yeah, like if you're there, we're gonna. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, like I should be there. I don't see anything else crazy happening. And then yeah, it just came and went. Like the last few rounds, you guys know they just like fly by them. It just came, went, nothing. And I didn't hear anything after. Like my phone was like silent, so I've been training with these guys. I got friends, everything. So I'm just seeing everyone get signed and everything. Like I was excited for them, happy for them, but so that was draft ends on Saturday, right? So it was like 3 days. It kind of felt like Easter coming over. It kind of felt like Passover. I didn't hear anything until Tuesday. And that's when the Rams called me. Then I went there, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I made it, but gyms were still closed. So I had to like jerry rig my garage, like my parents' garage, because I had to go back home, sourcing like equipment off of like friends' houses, like just everything. Dude. It was just like it was tough, Like there was nothing I could do in San Antonio. I didn't even know anyone who could get me like work around, like I know some guys have like their schools, were able to like work out on the sly. I didn't even have that, so it was just nothing. So that was tough. I ended up catching COVID like a month before I went, like for the to the Rams. So that was trash.
That was the OG COVID too.
Yeah.
Original strain.
Yeah. And I was honestly scared because like my process was like I never felt bad during the whole thing. So I was like, all right, I'm healthy, I'm good. But afterwards, like I couldn't I couldn't breathe that good. So I was like, oh man, like this biggest like tryout of my life, and like I'm having COVID effects. But yeah, so that just kind of like it was just everything. And then I finally get there. No preseason games. So like, it was hard. No preseason games. I went to a team that hadn't had anybody who like in the linebacker room hadn't had anybody who started more than like 4 games or something crazy. So it sounds good, like, oh, there's opportunity, right? But no, during COVID, like only reps you get are practice reps. So like if you're veteran guys, like your veteran guys need those reps. So it was just tough, I'm in camp with the Rams, other positions, like get more opportunities. Like Sean McVay, like he's super dope, but like they run like a pretty like light training camp compared to other teams. So Aaron Donald is, taking days off. So younger guys are getting more reps there. Jalen Ramsey, just every other position on the Rams, wide receivers, you name it, linebackers, like they're taking all the reps because like they need them. You don't know what's gonna happen. So I got very limited reps in camp, and then hadn't done pro day, so other teams didn't have that, didn't have any preseason. It was just tough. It was just tough. Then after that, made it all the way through the end of training camp. Unfortunately, got cut. But then there's no like CFL to fall back onto. They were canceled. No, like all these other leagues now. No XFL, USFL. So it was just a tough time.
I feel bad. I didn't want to make you like, relive this trauma, man. But this is interesting stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is a little behind the curtains. So what's the big thing you learned from this experience? Because I know you're one of those guys that like everything that happens to you, you're gonna learn something from it. So what'd you learn from this?
Um, I mean, I learned a lot about timing, you know what I'm saying? I definitely learned about timing and just how that affects things. Um, I really had to learn a lot about like forgiveness. Cause like I'll be honest, like I was pretty like salty, you know, like of course, like when it's my chance for this opportunity, like freaking the world is like crumbling, you know what I'm saying? So like I was pretty bitter for a while. So I had to learn like, you know, to forgive just not only myself, but conditions out of my control. So I say those are two biggest things, timing and just like forgiveness in general.
Have you thought about getting like I'm imagine you're still in pretty good shape. Have you thought about like, as things have opened up a little bit more, the different leagues opening up and stuff?
Yeah, I've thought about it, man, but it's just I made it out, you know, no injuries, no nothing like that. And then I just had a lot of time, as we all did during COVID and just kind of post no football, just to find like other things that like, you know what I'm saying, I'm interested in, I'm passionate about. So I think I'm good on it. There's some days, you know, where I'm like, like I do kind of miss it, like when fall kicks up. I really miss the locker room more than anything, but
Mm.
yeah, I'm pretty content, like you know, like with what I've accomplished and what football has afforded me.
Yeah, I mean,
How
you
do you
did a bunch
find
of
that?
things in school, so like, how could you not be? Like, because anytime you're like, oh, I could still be doing that, it's like, well, you had a pick at College Station, in Kyle Field. You heard everybody. You shut up, College Station. It was awesome.
Yeah, nah, it was a cool moment. So that's what I'm saying. Like I've worked on like forgiveness and just gratitude for so I can kind of like let that chapter close with peace.
How do you find that locker room in like what you're doing now? You know what I mean? Like, do you still hang out with some guys? Is there like a crew that you run with that you're like, this is kind of recreating the locker room feel a little bit? That camaraderie.
Yeah, it's been a little bit hard, man, because like I said, I relocated to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have it as much out here. I mean, I do keep up with like all of my teammates and everything like that. I'll check in with them, so I still have that. Um, that's one thing I'm also excited for. I'm actually probably moving back to Texas, so I want to be around the program, be around a lot of the guys a lot more. So I'm excited about that. But it's been hard, man. Like just simple stuff. I didn't realize like was that hard. Going to like just a regular like recreational gym, dude,
That's tough for you, I bet.
yeah, it's not the same, man. I'm used to like just being able like waiting on equipment. Oh man, dude, that's like the hardest.
You
You
see
know,
the
like
weirdest things at public gyms too. I worked at the rec, like when I was at school, so I saw so many
yeah,
dummies and just
yeah,
doing
man.
the weirdest things. And it's like, I played some sports. Obviously, I'm not like you, but
Don't say that,
I
bro.
did play sports. I
What?
did. I'm not saying. I said I'm not like Belo. God,
You play some sports, man. It's
I played
valid.
some
It's
sports.
legit.
Yeah,
I know
I
what
threw
you
down the
mean.
gauntlet. I think I'm the best in shape journalist that covers Texas State. So I'm racing anybody who covers a team in 100. We'll see what happens. But I'm
Yeah,
saying I'm not
I
that
like the
good at sports
confidence.
like you. But I've seen some crazy things in the gym. So I can only
Yeah.
imagine you, a professional athlete,
Dude, I think the biggest thing for me is just like people who just like hog the racks, man. The racks are not for curls. I can't get around it. It's not for curls, especially like unless you're like maybe if you're doing like some just crazy amount of weight on like barbell curls or something. But man, we got to get the tens. Like that's not gonna work. That's just not gonna work.
Dude's not wiping the equipment down. Like it's a whole thing for
Yeah,
you.
man. Answering phone calls, like it's tough.
Breaking machines. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
We got to
wild.
get the Belo. We got to get the Belo seven deadly sins of the gym. Like, what's the seven things that drive you the craziest, man? Because that's gonna be a good list.
All right. I've already spoke on the misuse of the squat rack, so like curls and stuff like that. That's killer. Um, Not wiping down equipment. I hate that. Like we're not even out of COVID all the way. Like the least we could do is wipe down equipment. Um, I hate not putting like re-racking like weights. Like oh man, like I hate when like there's a 45s and there's like 10s in between. Like it's just I like it to look neat. What else? What else we got?
The phone calls.
The phone calls, yeah, no, can't forget that. The phone calls, like just hogging equipment.
How about the people recording themselves?
I'm not. I'm on the fence about that one. Like if it's done correctly, like I get it. I'll be honest. Like sometimes, like I'll watch like the content creator like Jim. Sometimes it's cool. So I feel like if it's done correctly, that's not that bad.
What about the guy with music on his phone? There's
yeah, no music out loud, dude. Like I get it. We all forget our AirPods or headphones. You just gotta tough it out that day. We don't all want to hear what you're listening to. Oh, what else was I gonna say? Oh, mirror only guys. Like there's other you can work. There's other areas to work out. You don't have to get it like peek at yourself like every exercise. How many is that? Is that 6?
I think you're at 6. Yeah.
I got one more for you.
Oh, what you got?
Okay, what do you got? No. Let's hear it.
I like over dramatic people. Like I don't want to minimize anyone's like wins and successes in the gyms, but like the loud, like we don't need that. That's not, we don't need that.
We're not all on that guy's fitness journey,
I was gonna throw in the guy that wants to teach you how to lift weights. You had that guy?
Yeah. The forum guru. Yeah.
That would be mine, but that's a good one too. I like the guy that's a little bit too loud at the gym. I want to talk about your experience with these head coaches, man, because as fans, look, Jacob and I, we covered quote unquote we covered the team,
quote unquote. Yeah, that's documented.
I mean, but like it's like I always said a fanalist. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I love my school. I'm gonna cover the team, but like also, if somebody's doing some dumb shit, I'm gonna say something. Like that's just how it is.
No, I guess.
What was the difference? Because you had multiple years of Withers, you had a year of Spavital. What? Tell me a little bit about both those coaches.
Ooh, they just ran kind of like different ships, I guess, if you will. Like Coach Withers was like very like structured. Not to say Coach Spavs wasn't, but it was kind of more like what you need to get done to be successful, or like what you need to do personally to find your own success. And he kind of let you the freedom to do that. Whereas Coach Withers was like, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like to be successful. Like, and if you find, what I'm saying? So you had to work in the confines of that. So it was kind of like weird. It was like a weird dynamic because Coach Withers was like good to a fault, I guess, if you will, just because there's not like a one, like I have some teammates who can like eat. I had some teammates over the course of years who could eat whatever, like sleep whenever, and show up ready to perform. And then I did have, my guys were like, no, like I gotta get 9 hours of sleep, eating on time. So like that, what he like his version of success, like you have those guys on both sides where it just didn't fit them. And then I guess on the flip side, Coach Spaz, where you have like the freedom, like you guys know Texas State and like everything.
Oh boy, do we!
Not really Zimmel. He didn't party or anything. So
no, never party. No, never party. But just everything there is at Texas State. So like sometimes where there's lack of like structure, there's just so much like to get into. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So like, yeah.
I was going to say, according to Withers, what he told us is that he came in to a very poorly run organization and he had to build the foundation from the beginning, right? Just from the start, I got to find a way to get everybody structured in the same spot. Do you feel like that was kind of the case? Do you feel like it was kind of like what I think he used a term that I'm not going to use when talking about the program.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
He used a lot of terms that probably aren't. This seems like a family friendly. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we definitely got it.
I just don't want somebody clipping this and then 30 years down the road, me losing my job. The way that Withers was describing things.
It's not worth it. It's not
He's
worth
gonna
it.
reply to you with a popcorn gif, Andy.
Yeah.
One of those he can say it, I can't say it situations.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
But do you feel like it was the same, like in that kind of vein?
I guess speaking, I can't speak to it overall. I mean, I do feel like there's definitely there's a lot of like good he did, and there's obviously some things that probably rub people the wrong way that maybe like can't say I agree with 100%, but for me personally, like I needed that direction. You know what I'm saying? It like helped me build a framework to find success for my own. Because prior to that, we had Coach Francione, who I spent my like red shirt year with. Like I was lacking that kind of like structure, and I came from like a really small school, so like Texas State was just like mind blowing. So I think the Coach Withers structure definitely helped me figure out like what it looks like to be successful.
You said a small school. What high school did you go to again, Brian?
I went to you never heard of it, but
you went to Reagan, right?
No. I had a bunch of friends at Reagan. I tried to go to Reagan at one point, but no, I went to Randolph High School. Yeah, so I graduated with like 70-something people in my class.
Dang. Yeah, okay, got you. It was the Air Force Base. Got you. So that was okay. I knew it was San Antonio. I couldn't remember if it was Randolph or Reagan. Okay, that makes sense. But I was gonna say like Reagan's not a small school. I don't know what this guy's talking about.
No, I had a lot of friends that went there, so I'd hang out with a lot of those guys. But no, I didn't go.
Got you. Okay, well there you go.
Well, high school football's changed a lot too. So what was the hang up with you not going to Reagan initially?
Well, I live like far. I live super far from Reagan. The whole reason that came to fruition is because I played AAU with a lot of guys that went to Reagan, and then so I wanted like to play with them.
Not AAU football though, right? You're talking
AAU
basketball. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was a hooper back in the days, man. I thought that was gonna be it till I stopped growing. I peaked. But yeah, I live like 30 minutes away from Reagan. Like I was no way, shape, form in that like their jurisdiction or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, tell us some stories about Texas State, man.
Yeah. Well, you went through a bunch of stuff with through your tenure. I think the bus crash is like the crazy. Like that should have been a national story, in my opinion. I was like, what is going on at this place?
I'm gonna be honest. I could tell that story, but coming from me, it'll be like kind of like anticlimactic. And like, if my parents watch this, they'll probably laugh too. I was asleep. Like I didn't even realize. I wasn't even on one of the bus. I may have been on the bus that hit the other bus. So on my bus, like we really didn't feel too much. I can't remember. I was either on a bus that wasn't. There was 3 buses. I may have been on the bus that wasn't in it, or the bus that hit the first bus. But now I just remember us being like, we were stuck in traffic on the way to New Mexico State. And then, I was like in and out of sleep. Like, I was like, damn, I feel like we should have been there by now. And then, I think, I want to say I was on the second bus. But yeah, I just remember feeling it. Like we broke hard a few times. Like it was stop and go traffic. And like, I don't know what the bus driver was doing. But then I want to say one of the times, like, I was like, oh, that wasn't just a hit of the brake. Like, I think we hit something. Yeah, so it was crazy. And then, we had to get out. And then I want to say it was the cheerleaders because they were on the front, but they were on the bus that actually got hit. So, like, a bunch of them, like, a few of them
hurt.
actually got hurt, like, suffered, a few things. But we had to like get off the buses and we were just like outside for, I don't know, it felt like maybe like an hour. And we're like looking like, are we gonna get there like on time? And then you're seeing people like, I didn't realize like the ambulance came and like it was just a whole debacle. And then we get to the locker room. I think Elijah King, like he was like one of our better receivers that year. He had a concussion, so he didn't play. We start the game with like 4 picks in a row. I think New Mexico State is running like, I think we got them to like, they converted 4th down, like, why? I don't know. They're running trick plays. Dude, that was like the craziest start to a game I've ever experienced in my life.
Do you know how hard it was for me the next day, like that next week, to defend this team? Do you know how difficult it was to be like, it was the bus crash, it wasn't the players?
Well, I mean, after you go through that, right? Like, that's kind of crazy too.
He just told us that he was fine.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I'm different. I think there were some guys that were shaking up. And then people don't realize it's like when you get off schedule, like sometimes like it just messes up your routine and kind of takes you out of the zone. Like we were literally just in the middle of like a field on the side of the road, no connection. And it's like, it's hard to just stay locked in. So, I mean, granted, our performance was inexcusable.
Tyler Jones, man, it really shook him up.
I remember when they had posters of him all over campus, and I was like, oh, man, this is crazy.
That game was wild.
Where's my Belo poster? Did they ever come to you about that? Like, hey, promotional-wise, like, you know, you're getting up here in the tackles, you know, Sunbelt all defense, you know, let's get some posters up. Did anybody ever talk to you about that?
No, my only claim to fame was I had the like billboard off like I-35, but I had a black visor on, so you couldn't like really tell it was me. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, I had like my little mustache kind of showed, so if you knew, you knew. But nah, that was it, man.
With this new NIL deal stuff like going, do you think to yourself, man, I lost a bag there? Yeah.
Oh man, I lost a bag, man. Like,
you think so?
I mean, I wouldn't be like Bronny, where you know he's set to make $7 million next year wherever he goes. But I like to think I could have made like a decent, you know, like at least 8 free, you know, because I barely have money to do that. So I feel like, you know, at least 8 free.
What would have been like the initial places you would have gotten or tried to get with, you know, like places that you like in San Marcos or, you know, stuff like that?
Dang.
Because if I had the choice, like I would be Mayluz, like Pie Society, Dos Gatos.
Pie Society was dope, but I was real big on Lola's. I think it's Lolitas now.
Yeah.
What was it now? She had to change her name.
Oh, really?
It used to be Lola's, but now it's Lolitas. I think
you're right.
Maybe I have it swapped. But yeah, I went there. The Exxon Tacos went there many nights.
The Brian London special?
Yeah. After the square, man, I was always there. Chimmy's. Honestly, if it was on the square, I'll probably.
Now Valentino's is back? Yeah.
Yeah, Valentino's is back. That's dope. Dang. The all-you-can-eat sushi.
Kobe.
Yeah. I didn't find out about Kobe until maybe like my junior year. Like I wasn't a big sushi guy, or I thought. And then it was
probably for the best.
Huh?
Could have been turned into a defensive tackle. You're at Kobe's out.
Yeah, honestly.
I saw they took the defense out to Kobe, like not too. I think it was a Coach Greg post or something, but they took the whole defense out to Kobe. And I was like, I can only imagine like the bill is set because it's like $9 or $10 or whatever based on the dinner or lunch service. But still, a lot of fish.
Oh, actually, and then the smoothie place, $5 Fridays, Smoothie King. I love that place. So I would have been there, and then I had this old truck, man. So I probably would have been at one of the dealerships. I would probably had to like put him in a little bidding war or something. But yeah, my truck back then it was time.
Nice.
Damn. So Brian London was not riding high, huh? Not the big man on campus. That's tough.
Just a modest man.
Talk about breaking some dreams. All right. we talked a little bit about the SMU game. I want to ask you because I don't remember a lot of bad interviews with you. Because
Never.
there's other athletes at Texas State that I can remember being like, oh, they don't like me, but I don't remember any. Like,
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't remember any Brian London like being like this freaking idiot. So that's good, I guess. But what we got to talk because at SMU, very nice stadium, they don't have enough rooms for us
Apparently.
for whatever reason. They made us interview the players and coaches in a stairwell. Is that the craziest place you've been interviewed?
Probably. Like as like a formal kind of interview, yeah, probably.
Well, especially because it's like a private school. So I was like, I mean, you should have seen the press set up for us, but we had a buffet for days. It was awesome. And so I go down to the field, doing my thing, and we link up back with you guys. And they're like, we're in the stairwell, and I'm like, where are we going? Like, is this the room upstairs or downstairs? Like, what are we doing here? And then they bring out Coach Papadol, and I'm like, is this whatever? So yeah, and then you had just played a game, so then they bring you down like 2 flights of stairs, and I'm like, wait, this is our number one guy right now. What are you doing,
man? Even I think some schools just do that with the like visitor facilities, just in general. Like even the locker rooms were like, I was honestly happy to come out there and do the interview because like the locker room was like so small. Yeah.
It's always incredible to me that you were able to give us like cohesive sentences after playing a game. Because most people who watch the interview, listen to us, are going to remember the way that you played. You did not play like slow. You were very fast. Everything that you did on the field, was like a point of attack going in. So the fact that you come off the field and give us like very eloquent answers about like, yeah, on third down we just couldn't make a stop. Like, I mean, that's something.
You honestly spoiled us because we would go from you to anybody else, at Texas, across sports even, and we would be like, well, not Bilo for sure, but
nah, I think it's just I don't know. The game just kind of like would come slow to me. So honestly, it was kind of an outlet because I was used to like my dad or my parents, like I'll talk to them after the game. So like I was kind of used to it, like doing like a play-by-play. And then like I'm the hardest judge on myself. So like I like to like, I don't know, it just helps me to like remember it and replay stuff before we get to the film session. And it helps me honestly a lot of times like come up with my story. Like I'm gonna tell the coach, like he's like, Brian, why did you miss that? Like I've been thinking about it, so I have a reason. You know what I'm saying? So
anytime anybody tells us, Jacob, that they're the hardest critic, I look at that as a challenge. I go,
you for sure have.
How can I be harder on them than they are on themselves?
You've messaged me after some really good days you've had. I'm like, what is this guy on? Like, I don't know what he thinks this is right now, but he's a little too hard on himself for sure.
Yeah, no, it's I'm a tough critic. All right, Brian, I want to talk about like what you see now with the program because clearly I think you still care about Texas State. You're not like a lot of people who they leave Texas State and then they're just done with it. I think that you, not only because you have all the records and you were such a big part of the football program, you still care. So what do you see now with the new head coach, new guys in different positions? What do you see about Texas State?
Wait, Zim. Wait. I have tweets from Bilo actually about their thoughts on this matter. First one, and this is the one I retweeted too. I don't know if they can play, but coach going crazy in the portal. # take back Texas. And then the next one is, where do I apply to be Texas State recruiting coordinator? I swear I'll get us turned up.
All right. Is this the announcement here, Bilo, that you're coming back to Texas State to be the recruiting guy?
Oh man, I wish. I honestly wish. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun. I could do some good there. But no, those guys right now don't look like they need me. So I'm just sit back and I think just be a fan. I'm excited being here in Denver. I haven't got a chance to like really like go back, kind of meet the new coaching staff. How do you pronounce his last name? Like I don't want to butcher.
Oh, Kenny?
Is it Kenny? Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to make sure.
Zimmer was mispronouncing it for like weeks, and then I had to get him on the side. I'm like, that's not how you pronounce it, right?
It's funny because the way everybody says it sounds like Cartman talking to his friend Keeney. GJ Keeney.
No, that is funny. I just want to make sure I wasn't saying it wrong. But no, I think Coach Kenny's doing a real good job. I think, first of all, I didn't know like how we got that many scholarships. Like I thought it was done.
That's what I was saying.
Every day. Like, aren't we up to like 30 or something right now?
36, yeah.
Yeah, that's absurd. But
they're waiting on 2.
We're waiting on 2? Like
yeah, they got 2 commits right now, but they haven't signed yet. So
okay. I got you.
Yeah.
But I think right now it looks like to be a good balance of like JUCO and high school guys. A lot of roots to Texas. So I think that's cool. I always like didn't understand like why we didn't try to get like more, like local guys and everything like that. But yeah, I'm excited. I think there's a good aura around the program right now. So yeah, I'm excited to go back to Texas too, because like any way I could help or be a part of that, I'd like to, for sure.
Now, you're from San Antonio, so you know how big of a thorn in the side UTSA is for me. And you, I imagine too. Is this like the rival that you like? I lose sleep about it at night, but do you lose sleep about it at night, UTSA?
Yeah, I lose a lot of sleep because a lot of those guys, like I wanted so badly to come to Texas State. Like Rashad, Sincere, they're now kind of like Sincere left, but they were part of like that real good senior class. Like I wanted them at Texas State so bad. I tried my hardest. Honestly, maybe now looking back on it, I guess my track record as recruiting coordinator wasn't good, but I did everything.
Well, you had your eye on the guys. So
yeah,
that's the first step, right?
Yeah.
I could see talent too. That doesn't mean I'm a good recruiter.
Yeah, but you're not in the building. Belo's already there. He's got a brand people can trust.
I felt like I did a good job. I feel like the staff they didn't hold up their end of the deal.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
You were the guy that they would bring in, right? Like they bring in recruits, and you're probably one of the first people they meet, right?
Yeah, so I did a bunch of recruiting visits, and I did a lot of recruiting visits for guys that actually ended up committing. But I think the biggest problem with like the kind of going back to the UTSA thing, Rashad and Sincere both went to Judson, which I live like right next to. I worked out with both of them at one point, like when they were like younger than me when I was coming up. So I was really close with them, more so Rashad than anything. But they both wanted to go to school together. But where we messed up, where the staff dropped the ball is they wanted Rashad to transition to running back instead of defensive back. And I think he would have been great at running back, but that's not ultimately what he wanted to play. So that kind of
and it worked out pretty damn well to be the DB. So
yeah, exactly. I knew he could play DB, man. That's what I'm saying. Tough.
No, I'm telling you, Belo's got it.
That's what I'm saying.
What's the recruiting pitch, Belo? If I was an 18-year-old, what's the recruiting pitch to bring me to San Marcos?
Sam, I'll probably just well, that's another thing. I'm not bringing anybody like those. We would do like December visits. I'm not doing that. Probably I would really just try to get people like to come what is it, Bikini Hill, like the river right there.
Yes, like, this guy gets it. Guy gets it.
Come on.
Like, I don't know like the dates and the deadlines or whatever, but I feel like we should like we need to stagger where people come that first week of classes, like in the fall, like where it's just you get out of class and that was the hardest part. That's another thing that is hard about being Texas State. Like where our athletic facility is, like you have to come from classes, a long day of classes, and past that hill, it becomes really hard to go play football.
Well, just parking over there too is like, but I can only imagine if you're an athlete, you know?
Yeah, but
look, Jacob, I don't know if I need to tell you this, but we're not talking about parking over here.
We're talking about parking. All right. If you talk about Texas State, you can't not talk about parking, right?
Yeah, I would take
parking
probably a Tuesday on the square too. Like everyone thinks the weekend is prime squaring. It's really a Tuesday because it's like the Mark has tequila or whatever for like $1.25. I don't know if that's still a thing, but you got that
dollar dose.
Yeah, it's like a good crowd. It's not too crowded like on the weekends. It's just it's a vibe, man. I'm telling you, I get them right.
Bilo's got to bring the JUCO.
Zimo's not about the square life, so he doesn't know what he's talking about.
No. Bilo's bringing. You can't bring an 18-year-old to the square on a Tuesday night. You can bring the JUCOs. Bring the JUCOs in. I don't think the 18-year-olds are gonna enjoy the square as much as you would. I think that's just an excuse to go out on a Tuesday.
They can go to Chimmy's till like 8 or 10, you know?
Yeah, you know.
And they round up the 18-year-olds. Get out of here.
I know some guys. I know some workers.
Well, you know what they could do? They could take them to Chimmy's for the radio show that the coach does, you know? And then they give all the little 18-year-olds wristbands and like, okay, we got to go now before it gets bad over here.
Well, no, I definitely would take them to the river though, for sure. Like just like after a school day, there's just so much to do around San Marcos. Take them tubing, just show them. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that it's a pretty easy sell. The coaches tell us it's pretty easy sell. And then for some reason, guys don't come. You know what I mean? But I think that that's not fair now. I think that we are seeing a kind of a transition period. I think things are changing a little bit more. So that's good.
When's the last time you've been back, Bilo?
Oh, last time I've been back? It's probably been a little bit over a year. I don't think I made any games this past season, but the season before, I went to the home opener, and I maybe went to like two more home games or something around there. Yeah.
Well, when you move back to Texas, we got to get you to throw out a first pitch. That's the hill that we're on right now, is trying to get more first pitches, ceremonial first pitches done at these baseball games.
I don't know who's been throwing them this year, but
hasn't been me, hasn't been you. Those are the two people that matter.
I feel like we're kind of towards the bottom, not the bottom though.
Not the very bottom, but you know.
Yeah, we're not first. We're not getting the first call for sure.
I'll tell you what. I will give up my spot in line for Bilo. Brian, congratulations. You are now ahead of me in line when it comes to
for sure. Wherever that is in line, but I'm ahead of you. I appreciate that.
I was ahead of Zimmel for sure to begin with, so you could be ahead of me now too.
Look at that, Brian just jumping up through the ranks.
I'm climbing. You know,
we got to get Trout on the phone. We'll get Trout. We'll figure it out. We'll get you to throw out a.
He told us we could take BP anytime we want, so you know.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, just a little flex.
Got some respect.
Little slight flex. I feel it. I respect it.
Oh man, Brian, it was great talking to you, man.
Yeah, this was awesome, Brian.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. Are we missing something? Can we plug? What do you have anything to plug for us?
Nothing to plug, man. Just excited. Just excited for just where Texas State is going. Slam Marcos, like I'm just we take back Texas. I'm here for all of it, man.
I love it.
Sweet. Well, thanks, Brian. Again, appreciate it. Before we go, I have to talk about our partnership with Elite Sports. You know, they actually made a link for me, so I'll share this right now. This is the list of all of their Texas State athletes. They have them on the maroon and gold tab. You know, this is, again, partnership that we're doing with them. They're a company that works with athletes as part of the NIL stuff and helps them establish a brand and start selling merch. So we've got Austin Smith, Xavier Perez, Mason Harrell, Chase Mora. The list goes on and on. Feel free. Gear up with Elite Sports. That's ELETE. And use code SQUARE. Helps us out. I still really can't get over that conversation.
No, honestly, one of the more fun interviews that we've done, this is what you were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, Jacob, when you're reinventing things. These are the type of interviews that we want to do, and we're going to have a bunch more coming up.
See, and you were talking about, we don't need to reinvent anything. I think, honestly, the thing that you and I were best at in college was getting interviews with people. And so that's kind of like the impetus of this is like, well, you guys want to hear it from these people, and maybe you want to hear it from us. So, hey, we're going to set these up and just kind of freeform it, really.
Jacob, the reviews are in. They don't want to hear it from us. They want to hear it from the guests.
They want to hear from who they want to hear from, for sure. Yeah, and I think Bilo is one of them. So
100%.
We got Bilo locked up right here.
More great ones coming.
More great ones.
Before we go, Jacob, I got an announcement. Jacob, I want to thank you for making this podcast possible. Because honestly, I've been thinking about this. We talked a little bit about it with Don earlier last week, and this is the whole reason the podcast works is because of you. So I wanted to give you a thank you at the end of this podcast. One of the best ones that we've done, because without you, this whole thing doesn't run. So thank you, Jacob, for making this possible.
The podcast was great, but the after show that we did with Brian was just like hanging out with him a little bit on Zoom. I mean,
And if we can get in, look, little things are in the works here. We'll see if they happen. A little bit more Brian London in your life, maybe come football season. We'll see what happens.
a little bit of Brian in my life, a little bit of insert Texas State great name in your life. This is Texas State Greats, though. Or what does it say? Great Bobcats. So I wanted to reinvent Square Talks a little bit, kind of put people in certain categories, So Great Bobcats, Square Talks is where we talk to, people like Don, some of the coaches, So yeah, I'm just kind of segmenting things a little bit differently. Also, you can find the content you need. But thank you, Zimmel. I appreciate your kind word. I will say, after that podcast with Don, Zimmel got a little shout out, got some free gear. I'm wondering if some of that free gear is going to come my way.
Nope. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I get a hat.
No. It's okay. At least Nigel Pearson will still talk to me.
Low blow.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.